video, we're working on systems of equation with three unknowns. Our first type of question, determine if 3, -7, 2 is a solution of the system. You just have to know that this has to make every single equation true for it to be a solution of the system. So we just substitute. It's really an evaluate question. We'll plug it through the first equation. So we have 3 into the x plus a -7 plus 2. Is that equal to -2? So we have -4 plus 2. Yes, that equals -2. So it works in our first equation. So now we will go to the second equation and plug those values in. So 3 into the x minus 2 times -7 minus our z, which is 2. Does this equal 15? So we have 3 plus 14 minus 2. 17 minus 2. Yes, that does equal 15. So it works in our second equation. Just have to check our third equation. So we're going to plug it in there. So we have 2 times 3 minus a -7 minus 2 times 2. Is this equal to 9? So we have 6 plus 7 minus 4. 13 minus 4 does equal 9. So this triple works in all three equations, so it is a solution of the system. To solve a system of equations with three unknowns, basically we're going to use an elimination method. We will add multiples of rows together to cancel out variables until we have just two equations. I'm going to add -1 times row 2 and row 1 together. So -1 times row 2 will be -x, -y, -4z equals +22. I'm going to add that to row 1. So I'm just keeping it as it is. And what happens here is my x and y cancels. So it gives me 4z equals a -12 and divide by 4. So z will equal -3. Next, I'm going to do 6 times row 2 and add that to row 3, which will eliminate my y's. So I know the answer for z. I'm going to eliminate my y's. I will only have left to solve for x. So let's do 6 times row 2 will be 6x plus 6y plus 24z equals -132. And we're going to add that to row 3 just as it is. And my y's will cancel. So I have 7x plus 16z equals -83. And I know the z because I solved for it earlier, so I can just plug it in. So I have 7x plus 16 times a -3 equals -83. And so 7x minus 48 equals -83. Add 48 to both sides to get -35. And divide by 7. So x will equal a -5. I am now going to substitute back my x equals -5 and my z equals -3 into equation 2 and solve for y. So x equals -5 plus my y plus 4 times z equals -22. I have negative 5 plus a negative 12 is negative 17 plus y equals negative 22. I'm going to add 17 to both sides to get a negative 5. So y equals negative 5. So my solution is x is negative 5, y is negative 5, and z is negative 3. I have one more system here we'll try to solve. And first I am going to try to add negative row 2 to row 3. And that should cancel out my y's. So negative row 2, so negative 1 times row 2 will give me negative x, negative 3y, plus z equals negative 12. Row 3, just recopying. And then I'm going to add those together. So my y's are gone. I have 2x minus 3z equals 15. Next, I'm going to do 3 times row 1 and add it to row 2, and that will also cancel out the y's. So 3 times row 1 will be 18x minus 3y plus 9z equals 21. We're going to add it to row 2, x plus 3y minus z equals 12. The y's will cancel. I get 19x plus 8z equals 33. And now I have 2 equations with 2 unknowns. So I'll work with those. There is not anything easy that looks like it will cancel there. So I'm actually going to have to do 8 times this first one and 3 times this one to add them together. So I am doing 8 times my first equation with 2 variables to get 16x minus 24z equals 120. I am doing 3 times my second equation with 2 variables to get the 57x plus 24z equals 99. Then I'm adding those two together. My z's cancel, and that gives me 73x equals 219. And the 73 actually divides out, so my x will equal 3. So I have x equals 3. I'm going to plug it back in and solve for my z. So I'm going to plug into this equation. So 2 times 3 minus 3z equals 15. So I have 6 minus 3z equals 15. Subtract the 6, negative 3z equals 9. So z will equal negative 3. I'm going to take this x and the z and plug back into my original equation number 2 to solve for the y. So I have 3 into the x plus 3y minus a negative 3, so that will be plus 3 equals 12. 3 and 3 is 6. So and then I can subtract the 6 from there. So I have 3y equals 6, and y will be 2. So for my system, I have 3, 2, and negative 3 for the solution. Sorry for moving around. These kind of questions really need a huge board.